being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
This time, will we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Roy.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sippel.
Here.
Mayor Simons.
Here. Our first order of business is I'm going to pass it over to. I think we're going to flip that, right, and do the.
No, we're going to do the officers
First, okay.
Yep.
All right. So at this time, would Patrolman Kenneth Walker come up? We're going to do one at a time, correct?
Yep.
And would Donna Walker and family come up too? There you go. Raise that right hand. Please, I'll take it slow. Just repeat after me. I, Kenneth Walker,
I, Kenneth Walker,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform
perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of
police officer
police officer
for the
Township of Lower,
Township of Lower,
according to
according to
the best of my ability,
the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I'll let Officer Perry up there. Yeah, I'll let Officer Perry up.
Good, Mike?
Congratulations. Next is James Mathis. And if Jacqueline Mathis would come up, your family wants to come up, come on up. He looks ready. So. Going second's easier. All right, please repeat after me. I, James Mathis,
I, James Mathis,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of
police officer
police officer
for the Township of Lower,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job. Next, we have William Koshis. And if Bernadette Koshis and other family members would like to come up. All right, please repeat after me. I, William Koshis,
I, William Kosis,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
the office of
the office of
police officer
police officer
for the Township of Lower,
for the Township of Lower,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just want to say a couple words on behalf of the chief. Mayor and council, Mr. Manager, I want to thank you for graciously hosting the swearing in, as always. I want to take a minute to congratulate each of these officers on a job well done. Each of these officers have just completed a 26-week police academy where they were probably challenged more than ever before and have successfully made it through. That is truly an accomplishment to be proud of. Now they're here today with their families and friends and fellow officers being sworn in to take the next step in their careers and becoming Lower Township police officers. I'm sure this is a very exciting time for each of these officers as well as for the agency. For me, there's nothing better than watching a new officer develop and go through the different stages of their career and reaching whatever goals they set for themselves. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you and good luck. And may God bless all three of you. Now we turn it over to our manager for our budget introduction. Sure.
It's not gonna last another 4 weeks while I'm gone.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am required to deliver a working document of our proposed 2017 budget to Council by February 17, 2017, and the Council must approve the budget by April 21st, 2017. This Council has received copies of the proposed municipal budget for 2017. Due to several factors, there is a 1.8 cent tax increase. The tax levy is $20,797,190.62 compared to last year's $20,086,897.94, an increase of $710,292.68. We are below the legal spending cap by $827,032.05. I have met with all the department heads and the Township CFO, Lauren Reed, along with Township Auditor Leon Costello for the purpose of verifying compliance with the State of New Jersey spending caps law and tax levy cap law and other budget regulations. The Township completed 2016 with a surplus of $6,579,408.70. Of that balance, $2,525,000 is being applied to this year's budget, leaving a balance of $4,054,408.70. Projections anticipate fully restoring the balance used in this budget. We feel confident using this amount of surplus because operations have left it at a historically high level. This was due to several factors. The tax collection rate for 2016 was 98.67% compared to 98.56% in 2015. This collection rate added over $1.2 million to the surplus and represents the highest collection rate in 25 years in the township. Total anticipated revenue collections exceeded the projections for 2016, and together with miscellaneous revenues not anticipated, added $680,000 to our fund balance. The tax increase is due to a couple of factors. The first is a revenue source that decreased projected mercantile licenses by almost $70,000. This was from a statewide legal ruling concerning rental units. The second factor for the increase is the addition of $750,000 in payments to Cape May County for dispatch services and lease payments. These changes will most certainly bring about considerable savings moving forward, but because this is the first year, those savings aren't anticipated in this year's budget. We anticipate significant savings in next year's budget for utilities and maintenance. Projections indicate that savings from our county cooperatives, along with this year's conservatory budgetary approach, will allow for a zero tax increase in 2018. The use of caps in our union contracts has allowed for a net increase of less than 2% in this budget for salaries and wages. This will have a positive effect on employer taxes as well as our pension costs. Moving to New Jersey State Health Benefits has stabilized the health insurance budget line with this year's increase at just under 2%. The total assessed value of real property in Lower Township upon which this tax rate is based is $3,625,423,371 compared to $3,614,591,078 in 2016, which shows an increase in ratables of $10,832,293. Every $362,542 of the amount to be raised by taxation equals 1 cent on the tax rate. This budget uses 97.15% rate to compute the reserve for uncollected taxes for the upcoming year. This budget plans for an increase in services in our Office of Emergency Management, an addition in our police department of an administrative sergeant, along with a new TAC officer, as well as our construction office. Taxpayers will see no reduction in other township services provided. We have a well-planned capital program that has been increased in the 2017 budget, an additional $100,000 for the capital projects planned for 2017, and to make sure these capital projects don't affect the taxpayers in a negative fashion. This meeting is not for the adoption of the township's budget. This is a working document that belongs to the Township Council, and our CFO, Lauren Reed, has worked diligently the past 2 months assisting me with the presentation of these documents. The public hearing of the budget is scheduled for March 20th at 7 p.m. A budget summary will be published in the Cape May Star and Wave. Copies will be available on the Township website as well as in the clerk's office at Town Hall. Also with us tonight is our CFO, Lauren Reed, and our auditor, Leon Costello of Ford Scott Associates. And Leon would like to say a few words to council, and I'd like to say thank you.
Thanks, Jim. As Jim just mentioned, tonight's the introduction of the budget. This is really, even though Lauren's been working on this for months and Jim's working on this for months, this is the official start of the budget process for council. Tonight's introduction, it'll be advertised on March 20th. There'll be a public hearing, at which time the public can comment on the budget and we'll field questions and explain whatever needs to be explained. That night, excuse me, I've been losing my voice all day. That night, council has a decision to make whether to adopt the budget as is, make amendments to the budget and then adopt it, or have the public hearing, and depending on what happens at the public hearing, maybe schedule another session for the budget. Those are the 3 possibilities you could have. The budget's not finalized until at least 3 of you say yes to finish it, and then it'll become an adopted budget. Jim mentioned you're well within all the spending caps and the levy cap by a long shot. You could raise the taxes a lot more and spend a lot more, but you're obviously not going to do that, and it's prudent not to. The financial stability is very sound. There were some one-time things that increased that fund balance that might not reoccur, and that's why it's been a little conservative as to how much you're using. And I think it's a wise move to only anticipate only $2.5 million in this year's budget from fund balance. Again, the process from now till March 20th is you can talk about it at any length. You have documents that are probably that thick, I guess, to explain everything that's in there in all details. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at that stuff yet or not, but go through that. And on March 20th, we'll have the public hearing and hopefully adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your work, and Lauren, thank you. Any questions, comments?
Lauren, I know how many hours you put into this. I want to thank you, your department, and all the department heads for all the work you've done for this. I know it wasn't easy, and brought me past here 7, 8 o'clock at night sometimes. There's Lauren on weekends just to try to get this right. Really, thank you.
also like to reiterate, the one thing that sticks out to me is, I believe you said our surplus is over 6 million, which in researching the rest of the county, I believe that's the biggest surplus in the county. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that's impressive. It's good that we have backup in case of an extreme emergency, et cetera. So nice job and thank you. At this time, move down to the consent agenda.
Resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Resolution number 2017-63. This is the introduction of the 2017 budget, and reminding everyone that the budget hearing and the adoption is scheduled for March 20th, 2017.
And again, a vote tonight is not a vote to finish this, it's a vote to really start it.
Correct, and we did have council comments. Is there anyone that wants to make any comments from the audience just on Resolution 2017-63? Seeing none, let's move down to the consent agenda.
I make a motion.
Introduce the budget.
Introduce it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simon?
Yes. Now we move down. Are there any council comments on the consent agenda?
I do have a comment. Mayor, on the consent agenda, the comment is reference to ordinance 2017-02, reference to the key box system. I've read through the ordinance a couple times, and I think it's a definite need for the township, and I support it. However, there are some clarification of language there I'd like to talk about, and I'd like to make a motion to table this ordinance.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
No.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simon?
Yes. Any other comments on the rest of the consent agenda? Anything pertaining to the consent agenda from the public? Anyone?
Yeah.
Come on up, state your name and address, please.
Frank Sirocco, North Cape May. On this consent agenda, 2017-02, about the lock boxes that Deputy Mayor mentioned. It's very important to get this straightened out, because at Conifer Village, for example, that's where I live, they're all older people. And this lock box is very important, because the fire department has to get in there, the EMTs have to get in there, and the police escorts for both of them have to get in there. Now, if they can't get into that lockbox, or it's disabled and something happens, you got an older generation in there, and anything is possible. So I suggest you look into this, because there's been a problem. The problem has been that communications. Now, for example, we have DirecTV there, and on channel 81, it shows you the camera on the entrance of the building. And there has been the ambulance come in, and the police department has come in as helping or whatever they do, and they can't get in. There's a code that goes into that telephone numerical thing there for the people who live there, and you can get in that way. But if it's not possible for them to get to a phone or anything like that because they're disabled, you're not getting in. Now, from what I understand, the police department has a key for a lock, but there is a lockbox there. But it's not a numerical key. It's a regular key. And I understand that the police department has a copy of that key, and so does the fire department. But the code to get into the building is a numerical code for that telephone pad. For some reason, nobody uses it, or nobody knows what it is. And I know that I've been told that both departments, fire and EMTs, have been given this code. But for some reason or other, they don't use it, or they forget it, or they don't have it with them. Now, it's important that they be able to get in there. So I would appreciate it if you really, really looked into this.
Thank you. And I totally agree with you. I know we use a lockbox. Obviously, the schools are because of this, due to the safety, the same thing with all the locks. There's a lockbox for the police. But Mr. Sirocco, and I'm going to let Mr. Belasco maybe talk a little bit more. I think one of the concerns is all that is understood exactly what you said, safety-wise, and especially for gated communities or communities like Conifer. I think one of the concerns is it also states for private residencies, so that's where there's some gray area that we need to kind of iron out. But you're totally correct on what you're talking about at Conifer and some of the other places. I'm sure Sea Point Village is another one. I'm sure the Commons over there. But where we kind of, when we looked at it, there was some discrepancy with private homes, like per se a resident that doesn't live here year-round, things like that. So we really want to iron that out before we pass the resolution. But I appreciate your input. Rob, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We did get a call from the clerk's office today about the non-full-time owner occupied residential properties. The basis of this ordinance is really to deal with condominium associations, apartment complexes, commercial buildings. So we'll definitely take council's input, revise the ordinance accordingly, because I don't think there's really a need for private individual residencies to have these rapid boxes on their buildings. But we'll certainly take council's input, revise it accordingly, and if there's no objection, I don't see why it wouldn't be on the next agenda.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the intent of the ordinance. The intent of the ordinance is for rentals. There's a lot of single-family dwellings in our township that are rented, high-end properties that are rented, that have, we're talking alarm systems, we're not talking private smoke detectors in-house, we're talking full alarm systems. And the problem is that these go off in the middle of the winter with no owner here, and you have a volunteer fire department sitting out for hours trying to get into a building, or they have to leave the building without entering in. If it burns down, who's responsible?
That's a good point, Councilman.
And that is, I believe, the intent of that paragraph is for the rentals. There's got to be hundreds, if not over 1,000 rentals, single families in this township, and the fire departments are constantly burdened with going out with fire alarms, and if the owner of the property lives out of town, where it's especially rentals, and a lot of the landlords on these rentals don't live in town, let alone, or not even in New Jersey, some live out of state. And there you have a property with an alarm system, no one can enter the building. And if there's a problem, then we have an issue. So I believe that's what that section of the ordinance is actually referencing. Not owner occupied.
Strictly residential rental units. We can revise that so it's cleaned up a little bit more
Correct.
specifically, so that
Summer houses, that type of thing, because I understand what Councilman Perry's saying, but at the same time, everyone goes, well, the fire company, let's go check. No, only if they see something's wrong, where the police department can enter if they notice something, but if they don't notice anything, they have to wait till they get permission or something like that, and as he says, it does tie up. This came up before, I wasn't for the way it's worded now. I am very comfortable with it, but we need to make sure all council's comfortable with it.
And in drafting this ordinance, just so council's aware, there's a number of municipalities in South Jersey, actually throughout the state of New Jersey, that are adopting similar ordinance such as this to deal with that specific problem that Councilman Perry raised.
And I believe our township's the only one in the county or in the state that I know of that doesn't have one in place at this time.
Well, I mean, I'll certainly make it a priority to make any revisions requested by council so that we can expedite this ordinance.
Thank you. Thanks. And we'll get that taken care of as soon as possible. Any other comments on the consent agenda?
Approval of minutes, January 18, 2017. Approval of closed session minutes, January 18, 2017. Resolutions number 2017-64 through 2017-75. Ordinance number 2017-03, an ordinance amending Chapter 67, Municipal Utilities Authority of the Code of the Township of Lower. This is the first reading of this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing has been scheduled for Wednesday, February 22nd. And ordinance 2017-04, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2015-07, Chapter 178, Beaches of the Code of the Township of Lowell. This is also the first reading of this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing has been scheduled for Wednesday, February 22nd.
A motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2017-01, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank per NJSA 484-45.15N. This is the second reading and public hearing of this ordinance. This ordinance has been published, posted, and made available to the public.
All right, any council comments on ordinance 2017-01? Seeing none. How about from the public?
Mayor,
Yes.
I don't believe there was a vote taken on the consent agenda.
after council, after
Yeah, just did.
public comment,
Yeah, I'm sorry, you just did. The two ordinances on the consent agenda. Sorry.
thank you. Just want to make sure.
So where were we? Oh, public comment on ordinance 2017-01? Seeing none. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes. All right. At this time, we have council comments. Councilman Conrad?
Not too much this week. Like to congratulate the 6 officers we swore in this Saturday night for Bill's Fire. They had a wonderful banquet to recognize the fire company and their new officers for the year. It's getting scary for me because a lot of them I worked with their fathers when they started, and now their kids are the chiefs, captains, assistant chiefs, and I don't know. They're a good bunch, I'm proud of them, and other than that, stay safe, people.
I have two things I'd like to state here. First of all, the Lower Township MUA will be starting the water line on Roseanne Avenue. They're going to be doing some water line installation. They have to move the existing water line for the Roseanne Avenue project to get going. Somewhere around the third week of March, the MUA will have a contractor out to start the moving of the water main. So there will be activity in the area there. And on that, we are...
What was that?
What song is that?
We are waiting for the CAFR permit, I do believe, at this point for the rest of that project to get underway. And the last thing is the last of the beach paths in the North Cape May section have been installed. The last two, I believe, were Scott Avenue and Browning Avenue. They're done, and everything in North Cape May, as far as beach access, is completed at this time. I do believe that there are some of the villas that need to be completed yet, but the North Cape May area is done.
Councilman Roy?
The thing I have is a very small matter, but nonetheless important. Breakwater and Route 9, there's a bike path crossing there, and it seems at nighttime it's not very illuminated. So we had a gentleman contact us and asked us to look into it. I have a call into Dale Foster, who's the county engineer, and I do believe they have had people out there survey the situation, and there is plans to put reflected marking in the streets to at least give the motorists advance warning that there is a bike path there. The concern comes when people in a southbound direction on Route 9 make a right onto Breakwater. They don't look for the bike path sign. Unless they know it's there, they may not know to slow down. And it's just a safety issue that's being addressed, and hopefully it will be remediated in the very near future.
Just one thing, I actually scheduled a meeting 2 Fridays ago with the Cape Assist and with the manager and the mayor, and unfortunately I got pulled a different direction for work and I could not attend the meeting, but we're working with the Cape Assist pull some resources from those folks, the Lower Township, to combat the addiction issues we have in Lower Township. I'm going to meet with them tomorrow, and we're going to push forward with that project. So, that's it.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll be working with that. I just have a couple announcements. First, I had the pleasure of swearing in the officers of the Federation of Senior Citizens for Lower Township, and I had a blast, by the way. You told me I would, and I did. It was great, and to hear their concerns and just to spend some time with some great citizens of Lower Township was a good time. Also, the Matt Caesar event, Seize the Day, was a huge success. I'm sure Mr. Ridgway will elaborate on that. It's raised money for Bone Marrow, the Tally Foundation, as well as two of our own citizens here in Lower Township, Kim Blackley, who is a township employee, and Bob Bonner, who's a longtime volunteer for the township, as well as a teacher in the township. And last but not least, we have a very important beef and beer coming up Saturday, February 25th. It is for the New Jersey Run for the Fallen. Our own Eileen Kreis has been a huge, huge part of this, and it starts right here in Lower Township, down at Sunset Beach. They have a great ceremony the night before, and to see where it's come over the last couple of years from the first year, it's unfortunately it grows with more soldiers, but it's also grown as far as the respect and the accolades that we give the soldiers and their families. So come on out on Saturday. It's the 25th of February, 6 to 10 at the Bolero Resort. That's on Atlantic Avenue in Wildwood. There'll be all kinds of prizes, food, fun, raffles, live music. And again, this money, proceeds go to cover all the expenses of the run, as well as support the runners and the Gold Star family members and support teams, because some of those family members travel a long distance. It helps put them up in hotels and things like that so that they can be part of the ceremony for their loved ones that were lost fighting for our country. So any more questions, please contact Eileen right here at Town Hall, or you can call her on her cell at 609-846-6121. Thank you. Mr. Ridgway?
Said you hit it both. Good.
So that's it. All right. We have call to the public. Anyone have anything for the good of the order? The bad of the order? Or the... Come on up. Just state your name and address, please, for the record.
Good evening. My name is Russ Ryan, 220 Mindy Ave, North Cape May. The reason why I'm here, I read in the Herald last week about the proposed bike path in North Cape May along Beach Drive. I wanted to just voice my support for it. As a resident of North Cape May my entire life, and now I'm a homeowner in North Cape May, raising my family. My wife and I, we're down here once a week in the wintertime, probably 4 times a week in the summertime. And I know there's a sidewalk for pedestrians, but at the corner of Roslyn Ave and Beach Drive, we don't even have a sidewalk there. So you're forced to walk out in the road anyway. We're down there riding bikes, people are walking, and the vehicular traffic, it doesn't make sense. Like you gotta ride a bike in the road. I understand the roads for cars, but where else are you gonna ride a bike at? So, I know there's a lot of blowback when this was brought up, I think 2 years ago. I just gotta say that the township, the Bay Shore is getting more marketable. You got all the events down at the ferry, you got the Escape the Cape, you got the fireworks, you got the concerts, the festivals. The area's getting more populated, so people are going to be coming here. I think the bike path is a good idea. It's going to be for the interest of the safety of the public, and it's a no-brainer in my book. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents. I know there's a lot of people, especially my friends my age, that we support it, and I figure you can't go wrong with this one. So.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that this is being looked into for safety reasons. Obviously, some of the issues that you stated, Mr. Ryan, but we're going to have, it's going to be looked at thoroughly. According to the police department is going to do several tests down there, whether it's speed. I know they're doing speed as well as some other things that they're looking at. Also, we want to comply with ADA regulations and make it as safe as possible if that's what we proceed with at that time. Are there any other questions or comments from the public? Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Rita Edwards, and I'm a resident of Town Bank, and I've been here for 50 years, so I guess I was born here. But anyway, it's for the competitive contracting for a feasibility study for an aquatic center. Just what does that mean? It means what we hope it means. It's wonderful.
What it means is that a year ago, council voted 5-0 to explore the possibility of having an aquatic center in Lower Township. And with the consent agenda passing tonight, we'll be going out for an RFP and interviewing various companies to choose which of those we would like to go further and give us this feasibility study, which will not only discuss the cost of building such, but it will also discuss what it will cost to operate such for years. The rec department started looking into this 5 years ago. There's been a lot of meetings involved. I will tell you that we don't have numbers yet, so if it's senseless to bring that up, but we do have approximations, and I feel our best choice of a place to put the aquatic center, which right now, the plan, we're asking for a feasibility study for 2 pools, a swimming pool along with a therapy pool. And there's some reasons for the therapy pool, one of which is,
you're looking at.
well, and that would be hopefully in the county airport. Again, we do not have approval for such yet. We have to find out the cost. Then I will be bringing that back to council for their vote at a later date.
Okay, because I've been asked quite a few times for the seniors in this county, which I also belong to the Federation, that they will come here in numbers to show their support for this. Like I have this pathways packed in no time. And they're willing to pay. We paid every year to go to Cape May. And it wasn't cheap, but we need the therapy. And I hope we get it while I can still walk. Because pretty soon I'll be on my feet.
Well, we have looked into all of these factors, and we've considered the youth of the township. We feel our younger people should be taught how to swim in the younger grades. We feel that we can cover a lot of people. When the kids are in school, our high school does not have a swim team. Does not have a pool for their swim team. They have to sort of share with the Coast Guard base, which has been difficult. But I just think if feasible, and it's something that we can handle. And our auditor is here tonight, and he's given us some parameters of where we possibly could go with our bonds, etc. So this isn't the ultimate, I'm optimistic that you're going to hear more about this.
Good. And I've also heard Ocean City got one, and they got a bond, and it didn't cost them any help. So I don't know how you work that. But
Well, we will work it if that's a possibility, and also we're looking to a lot of different aspects of whether sponsorships and things like that, so you yourself don't have to pay to come use it, but,
No,
there's a
it's
lot of,
worth it. We have done it for years, and they all agree that they will pay their fee to pay the teacher that's teaching us the aquarobics and all. Yes, we've always done that.
We recently found out that there will be open space funds available for such from the county also, and I have a meeting, what's today? Wednesday afternoon, Councilman Perry with Mr. Maury and the manager from the county up at the county building concerning the airport and how they hopefully will see us fitting in there.
Okay. Because we've been waiting for 3 years for Cape May to reopen. Forget it. We've all given up on that project.
well, and everything's so far away. I
Yeah,
know,
well,
Crest
they came
Haven,
from Sea Isle to go to Cape May. They'll come to our
absolutely.
township.
And it's something that will serve all ages,
That's right.
abilities and disabilities, and it's something that, I for one am tired of relying on other towns for
Right.
things.
Exactly.
It's time that, we're the biggest municipality in the county, and we're gonna be the best, and that's the way we see it, so.
Go for it.
We hope this works out, but we're going just to look at numbers and making sure that we can do it affordably and not the cost of
Beer, what
taxpayers.
the heck, we'll try it. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Good job.
very nice. Anyone else?
I can still walk.
Resolution number 2017-76, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act and JSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss collective negotiations and possible litigation.
Get a motion to go into closed session.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simon?
Yes.